Yo, bro, I know you can hear me right now, so I'm gonna turn it up real quick, okay? I know you can hear me better now. I know you can hear me better now just from turning it down. Anyways, this is a song I made called "The Fact of Blackness." And yes, this is a poem that you can look up from a very prominent figure, but it's kind of just like it's not about the poem itself, it's about the black experience. So let me just try to decipher this. I wrote it like 2 days ago. Saying I wrote like 10 more, like 20 more songs after that. So, I'm gonna get into the flow, bro. Some want to rid the world of evil, others want to rid it of good. Some want to rid the world, some want to rid the world, some want to rid the world of evil, others want to rid the world of some people want to rid the world of evil. Others want to rid it. So some people want to rid. Some people want to rid the world of evil. Others want to rid the world of good. Uh, Damn, yeah, no, she's talking about Morgan, bro. Morgan, she busy, bro. It don't matter. I'm not even discuss that right now. Anyways, some want to rid the world of evil. Others want to rid it of good. Others, I just be living single with the niggas in the hood. Um, and some nigga want to take my life. Is is gonna crunch and munch up, th- then spit me all out. My mouth will be silenced or maybe heard out, but no one will do it. But no one will do nothing. World full of doubt. Love provolone cheese. They say pro bono, then cuff you with ease. Um, I mean that was a bar. I wrote this like I wasn't in the flow when I wrote it. I was learning so much bad stuff about black people. Like we went deep in Black history, bro. Bro, stuff was making me mad, bro. Just go watch the Netflix documentary called The 13th Amendment, bro. It literally verbatim in the Constitution, it says except it says you we are taking away slavery except if it's for a crime. So then they started associating black people with criminals, and the words became synonymous, But that's another discussion for another day, bro. Black people aren't automatically criminals, but we are criminalized by the police, and that's why people say black people don't like the police. And bro, Dave Chappelle was talking about how a white dude can go up to like he was talking about what happened when he got pulled over. You know, the white guy was in the seat, and Dave was like, he sobered up a little bit. They were both high on weed, bro. And what happened was that the white guy was like, "Excuse me, officer. To be honest, I'm a little high right now, but can you give me directions to the mall?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's just right up the street. Just just go. Like, just get out of my face." You know, the officer is just letting him off, and in the most like friendly way, like as if they've known each other for their entire life. Like yeah, bro, it's just up the street. Just bro, I'm in uniform right now. Like just like you can't be seen with me in uniform. You know what I mean? So like we can hang out later, but I'm just saying like not right now, bro. Not right now, bro. I just go on, go on, bro. So then he gets in his car and he just goes to them. Then Dave Chappelle is a great comedian, but that's real. That's the difference. Anyways, back to the song. It's kind of let me try to see. It says the fact of blackness. Police, their job is to enforce the laws, not uphold its. Uh, not why did I not finish that? I was thinking not uphold its bars. Oh, I'm trying to say like they're they're not judge and jury. They just enforce the law, but in the certain way. Anyways, there are a lot of deep messages in all of the words. Their job is to enforce the laws, not uphold its uh, not uphold its what? I could say not uphold its bars. I'm trying to say you can't judge people and just throw them. You can't beat them up and then throw. You enforce the law. You tell someone they broke the law, and then tell the judge calmly, this person broke the law, and they need to go through a criminal court to um reclaim their innocence if they were unjustly convicted, or I should say, not convicted yet, because this is a good system and not the system that we have in America. But they were given a warning, and they're being accused of a crime, and they want to defend themselves in court. So, Judge Mathis, I looked at your schedule and I gave them your next available appointment that they said that they can make. I gave them the court location, and we had a candid conversation about what they should say, because you're the judge, and I told them your standards and how they should present themselves to you in a respectful way. And that is the best way to enforce the law. Like just treat someone like a person, not a criminal. It's different. Um, but we don't live in a good society in terms of government, bro. We got pedophiles in every branch of government. I think Pam Bondi or whatever said that if we were to remove all of the pedophiles, the system would crumble because they are the system. So I'm just saying, like, I got a lot of good ideas. I'm educated, got degrees, whatnot. I could be the president, bro. I could be the best president. I've written literal petitions to Congress, multiple, on how to change gun laws to be safer for people and not take away their guns at the same time. But I have them written down. I didn't actually petition it because I know that they would never pass it because I would have to go out and get votes from people, which in between classes and making music, I like I say I don't go to rallies, I don't go to protests because they don't matter. Like you're not in the seat. You're not the governor. Like the governor is not even gonna look at you, bro. They're just gonna be like, yeah, yeah, they're out again. Which police county do I need to call this time? Oh, I see a private one in the area. Yeah, I mean, oh, there's Bill. Let me just get his in the phone book. Hey, Bill. Can you? I know you're around the area. Can you just just intimidate the crowd? You know, and that's what they did. Like recently, a private, uh, pri- I think maybe it was just the Rodney King protest where they weren't allowing people to get in and intimidating them. It was something that happened either recently or Rodney King. But excuse me. Well, anyways, back to the song. If you want to get scolded, you can ask them where you're going. Being black is like always being under attack. The fact of blackness is that you're put to the test. Every day is a struggle as we're muddled and stressed. We're drowned and berated until we die like the rest. That part was good. I don't know what is going on in it. I mean, it was because of the flow. Because that flow was really easy to pick up of what I wrote. Then it was I could give it to you straight, bro. But anyways, off to the that last part. To be black in America, to live hard and one sec, sorry about that. To be black in America, to live hard or die young. The slaves sang because they were beaten and hung. Uh, not I did not say that. In like I actually just improvised beaten and hung, but it says because they were beaten. Oh, this is bad, but it's true because they were beaten, raped, and tortured, not because of trust. And when I say that, I mean when the slaves were, you know, I think Frederick Douglass has a quote in his bibliography, autobibliography, saying that the slaves sang and that their songs were cries against the institution that held them where they were. Like it was a cry against slavery, and Cartwright made this disease up, called um gingivitis. I'm joking. He made a disease up called shoot. It sounds like halitosis or whatever. Shoot. What was the disease? Let me. No, no, no. He made up this random disease, and it was basically saying that these black people, if they're rebelling against slavery, what'll fix them or what'll heal them because they have a disease. Because how could a black person not like slavery? So he said, you have to beat them with a whip, like until their body can't handle it anymore. Literally beat it, literally and mentally beat it out of them, and that beating will make them like slavery. And that sounds like what black mothers do to their single black mothers do to their kids. They beat them, with, and call them and arguing. But that's another discussion for another day. Um, yeah, that then that goes into how I talk, I read a lot, and I wrote about the generational whip that was passed down from slavery, from the white man to the black man, as a way to maintain a system that works in their minds. Um, but yeah, yeah, man, it's not a good system, but they don't want to hear that. I mean, well, the ones who are doing it don't want to hear that. You used to, some white people would call the police and say, "Hey, well, no, no, no." First, they'll go on social media and be like, "Can I be my child? Like, they're doing all this wrong stuff. Can I be my child?" And they're like, "No, no, 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 no." Obviously, because it's, you can go to jail or and whatnot. Child abuse and neglect, all these other things, CPS. But instead, they say you can call the police and they can beat your kids for you. So a lot of times you had homes where people, mothers would be like, "I'm gonna call the police on you," and then kid, they're all shaken up from the beatings they took from the police. We say police brutality, but when a mother's literally brutalizing their son by calling the police to beat them up, like, like what? Like, come on, how are we moving forward as a society if that's the solution? Like, bro, I've had so many debates with college professors, high school teachers. You know that they're switching Chromebooks for iPads now. So the iPad kids are gonna stay stuck on stupid. And I don't want to say that in a bad way because iPads are very versatile. But if you've never known anything else, then your repertoire is dead. You have one item in your bag of 70 empty slots. And that's not versatility. That's called someone is trying to control you and make you use only one thing for your entire life, just one thing. And you will rely on that, you will depend on that, and it will be your source of strength. If you don't have it, you will fight for it. You will fight to have it back because that is your life. And you will keep paying me because I'm the only one who manufactures that iPad. I'm the only one who manufactures that electronic. You can't get it anywhere else. Not like mine. The one that you've had, if you want, I can repair it. You can send it back. I can repair it, give it back. Like Xbox did with their consoles, you know? So, that's trust. And building trust with someone in a malicious way is very common in this day of AI. And when I say I mean that when we entered the bubble, the pandemic happened in 2020. 2020 was the day that that AI rose to power, especially in the education system, and people don't know that, but it's because I experienced it firsthand. My friend was like, "Yo, like just use ChatGPT, bro." Kevin, he's an awesome guy, bro. Kevin Bowie, bro. I want to talk to him again, bro. But like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He might be busy for real. But I mean, I like to meet up with him. Go to Old Town. Bottega Italia. Maybe bring some more friends, or put them in the mix. Just get some gelati, just some good ice cream, some food, some fries, But it is what it is. Life is life, and we gotta move. We gotta move. It don't matter how slow. We gotta keep moving. Even if we're not moving, we vibrating. We all of our particles are vibrating in unison. So we just vibrate. We always move. You know, it don't even matter what you are, what you're made of. We all move. So yeah, let's just keep it going, bro. And yeah, have a good day, yo. Much love, much love to all of you, bro. And yeah, I can keep doing podcasts like this, bro. But it's because my old songs, right? Hold up. Let me explain. So I made over 100 songs in the past month alone, and I've made like 30 songs in this month. At least like, yeah, there's no way it's under 30, maybe 60. But I made a lot of songs already in this month, and recently I've just been looking back at my old stuff and was like, yo, I can make this a lot better. So, I revised this the song's 2027 Year of the Goat Throne, and it's kind of wild, bro. Like it's the most you ain't heard no graphics stuff. Like the rappers, bro, they just saying stuff like they not even graphic at all. This guy's graphic, bro. So yeah, bro. I'm gonna drop that in 20. I might drop it. I'm gonna drop it in this year, bro. But it's because I fully wrote it today. I quickly wrote it in like 10, 20, 30 minutes. Like like I was on my walk and I was just like, yo, like the words came into my head, bro. I wrote it I wrote it last month, a whole song, and on my walk, I didn't have my notepad, I didn't have anything for the first time because it was just a walk to have my, to re-center myself, and I was really just taking in God's design. I was thinking about, you know, did man make all of this? And how was God involved? Were they inspired by God to make all this stuff, to make these houses, to make these roads, to pave them? And I heard the birds chirping. I heard the cars going. I heard, the silence. I heard the sky. You know what I mean? The silence is the sky. The sky is silent, and that silence it can be beautiful at times. But, you know, that's just life. I'm joking, bro. I was on my walk out, so I walked for an hour, right? Like 2:30 to 3:30. 1:30 to 2:30, my bad. Um, and yeah, I mean, I just so I legit it was 10 p.m., right? And I was like, man, I should really like do assignments. So I literally did 3 assignments in 2 hours. One was a whole speech, a 50-point assignment. Another one, actually, I can say I did three and a half. That half is crazy, bro. So legit. I'm gonna tell you that half in a minute. So for the 50-point assignment, a 30-point assignment, a quiz, all these three things. Wait, hold on. Yeah, all these three things were from the same class, bro. My public speaking class, bro. 50 points, 30 points, 20 points. The quiz was 20 points, bro. Got 18 out of 20, bro. And like I'm probably gonna get full points on everything else, but that then the fourth assignment was my Black History, bro. Black History, bro. This teacher is the hardest teacher I ever took in my life, bro. Like like not like like I can get 100% on all the questions, and then he's like the replies. You missed a reply, but I'm not gonna open up the discussion board for you to do your reply that really doesn't matter. But yeah, yeah, just you just missed out on like 15 points. Like, bro, like this guy will take away as many points as possible for the smallest thing or for no reason at all. Like you'll make up or like, bro, I want to read to you exactly what he wrote on like my second discussion post, bro. Give me a minute, bro. Let me pop off for a minute, bro. Let me pop off for a minute, bro. Let me pop off, bro. You ain't heard it. You ain't heard this stuff, bro. This is not the stuff that you hear on the daily, bro. Like, nah, bro. Dang, bro, this is crazy. So the initial post is 30 points. Oh yeah, by the way, this guy rigs the tests where there are 31 questions. Uh, each question is 1 point. I always get 28 out of 30 or 29 out of 30. I think this one time I got 30 out of 30. But the last question is worth 70 points. And it's a short response question. And no, and he wants evidence. He wants this, he wants that. He wants you to quote his words. He wants you to, and it's just like, okay, so you want me to click off the test to go to one of your lectures and directly quote you? Do you like to hear yourself? And no disrespect. It's just like, I first I just didn't know what you wanted, and I still don't know what you want on the on the quizzes, bro. Cause cause the last quiz I submitted, bro. The rubric says that, damn, I got 4 out of 15 for evidence, 30 out of 40 for historically accurate and content, which everything I say is historically accurate, especially during a test. Like I know my stuff, bro. So this guy's just doing whatever, bro. Sorry, that wasn't even the one I wanted to tell you about. Hold up. Let me go to a good comment. Like when I say good, I mean good. Yeah, bro, right here. You raised several. No. That was good. This is good, but he's just like, you did such an amazing thing, but you didn't answer the second question. And I'm like, I fell asleep while I was answering the second question. He's like, well, you're a day late, so I'm gonna remove 15 points from your grade. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna wait another day because I need to focus on my mental health. And I don't care if you remove 15 more points because, you know, it's not that I don't care. It's just that I care about putting out the best work possible, and I can only do that when I'm at full capacity. But yeah, okay. Oh, this is crazy, bro. Okay, so context. Context is that I mentioned that when he was talking about plantations and slavery, he's like, "Ooh, I'm getting preachy," and it's like weird. He's a white Black history professor, so and he's an white Black honors Black history professor, and he's like complete like there's not an aspect about him that is not white, bro. I say that he looks like a neo-Nazi, bro. And if he ever sees this, please don't get offended. It's just you're bald, you have glasses, and you just have that facial structure of like round and chiseled, not chiseled in an athletic way, but sculpted in a way that makes you look like a neo-Nazi. And your skin tone is of that complexion. But anyways, it says you bring real passion and engagement to these responses, and I appreciate how you clearly connect Black churches and schools to dignity, literacy, self determination, and long term leadership development. you your use of lecture language like mutual aid and essential tool of independence shows you were listening closely and trying to ground your argument in course material, and you made an important point about how colon expansion and slavery expanded together. That said, to strengthen this academically, well, after all that, he took off 2 points. Why? Because oh, it can always be better. That's his excuse, bro. So he says, that said, to strength to strengthen this academically, after academically I seem to have performed above excellent material, and obviously listened to his lecture, directly quoting him because he wanted me to do that. He says, bro, that said, to strengthen this academically, you want to use more precise historical language. Historical language. What didn't you quote me? I'm quoting you. You said I used mutual aid. It says your use of lecture language. Is that not historical language? Your use of lecture verbatim. Your use of lecture language like mutual aid and essential tool of independence show that you were listening closely and trying to ground your argument. No, I did ground my argument in course material, and you clearly say that I use your stuff from the lecture. Bro, professors really do try to find like the small, just the smallest thing, just so that they can say they did their job, bro. Like there's no other reason. Like, bro, like, nah. Uh, 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 like, okay, let me keep going. Anyways, you want to use more precise historical language and avoid informal phrasing. For example, replacing slang or emotionally charged wording with clear analytical explanation. He doesn't say he doesn't say exactly what I said. He doesn't quote me on the emotionally charged wording with clear analytical explanation, as if his words trump mine, as if his words are better than mine. You know, and be careful with a few facts. Be careful with a few factual claims. Well, hold up. Didn't you just say that? Didn't you just say that I'm not supposed to ground it in historical context and use historical language? Like, what am I reading right now, bro? This guy, like, I'm gonna be honest, bro. The only way I'm getting through this class is because of Jan. Jan is my mentor, and he's just the best friend that you could ever have, bro. We all go through our struggles, but instead of staying lost in the sauce, Jan uses that as wisdom. He turns experience into wisdom and advises me on what he did wrong, on how he sacrificed his mental health, and he helped me see a better path forward. You know, so that's why I'm focusing more on my mental health. With people saying that I'm doing factual claims and that doing factual claims that are historically grounded is wrong and will get me a 38 out of 40 on an assignment, and that my emotionally charged language, which I'm black and it's about black history, but I don't know what you're referring to because you quoted me on how I used your language, but you're not quoting me on how I used my language. So, what does that make you? But, anyways, be careful with that's crazy. It says, be careful with a few factual claims about breeding, federal policy, and processing numbers so your credibility stays strong. As if my few factual claims, I mean, he says a few, I only say factual claims. Make sure that these factual claims, no, he just says be careful with these factual claims so that your credibility stays strong. As if he's saying something that I need to hear, bro. Like, are you serious? Like, how do you sleep? Okay, okay, you sleep at night saying to your wife, I did something good, honey. I just finished replying to all these students, you know, and it's just baseless. All this stuff is baseless, and he doesn't even give me a good path forward. Jan does. And that's the only reason why I'm learning so much about Black history and about academics and how to navigate in a world like this one, where I have a teacher trying to tear me down. I say is borderline racist. He says I can't have emotionally charged language as a black person talking about slavery and plantations and the rape of black women. It literally said that it says the assignment, do a 500-word essay on how black women were raped and publicly humiliated, and use a lot of good evidence. And what happened was I couldn't physically get myself to get in the mindset to write a 500-word essay on the rape and humiliation of black women. But I had to do it for my failing grade because this guy, despite me doing excellent work, as he so eloquently does not put it, you know, it's just it's just stupid. The highest grade I got was 39 out of 40. I don't even know what to tell you, bro. Like, bro. So for my unit 1 test, bro. My unit one test, bro. My unit one test, I got 76 out of 100. As I said before, is broken up into two parts. 30 questions, each having 1 point, and the final question, which is 70 points. 70% of your entire grade on a unit test rests in this one question. So if you mess up, you're screwed. I got I'm pretty sure I got a 30 out of 30. And then my final score is 76 out of 100. And that tells you how many points I lost. And let me go into how good I explained too. It says verbatim, you show a clear understanding that the wealth, cities, and political power of empires like Ghana, Mali, and Songhai challenged the idea that Africa was poor or isolated before the slave trade. Your discussion of Mansa Musa, Timbuktu, and Gao effectively, verbatim, effectively highlights economic strength and global connections. And you correctly, historically correctly, you correctly emphasize political organization and conflict as signs of complex societies. I can, if you want, if you want me to share my what I wrote, like I can do a dissertation, bro. I can give you what I wrote. If you want, this is what this guy's saying about it, and he's giving me a 76 out of 100. So let me just tell you that this guy will remove points for no reason. Like it's in his brain. Where do I? What can I? What can? What, oh, I can remove points because he's black, I guess. I think he is emotionally charged here. You know, black people are, mad when they're writing about, you know, just, 500-word essays on raping and humiliating black women, and lynching them, and being afraid because you're gonna be lynched too. You could be lynched too, and then you can be if you look at someone the wrong way, you know, you can end up like Emmett Till. And I the only reason why I chuckled for a minute is because I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about black codes and slave codes, which are kind of different and the same. Um, and just a similarity, like kind of like made me chuckle a little bit. But then it gets to Jim Crow. And there's so many things that we go so deep into studying. We've been going to Andrew Johnson. The presidents, bro. We go deep into corruption, bro. We go deep into that, bro. How he wasn't even a general of the Civil War. The Civil War just ended. Lincoln just got shot, and he's put in office, bro. And he's giving the South all the power they need, letting them govern themselves. And you know, I can keep going, bro. Like, bro, they had to impeach him. Trump's been impeached like a few times, but not out of office. Because he fixed his acts. You know, but how many warnings can you get? Only God knows. People call him untouchable. I like the real people. Like I said earlier, like the U.S. Trump literally killed the leader of Iran, who was against nuclear weapons, and he wasn't going to use any of them. They have about like 16 nukes, right? Which he's not going to say. And, he's like, he's just going to, like, like, there's a news article that I just saw today that said that Trump said that that just right before his conference with the peace conference, They said that they were about to just like stop, just give up and end the war. Like that's what a retarded child would say. Like high on Adderall, bro. Like focus 100. They see one little thing. Yeah, everything I've been doing is right. Um, yeah, they don't like me. They're dying. Just very basic thoughts, and it's just how can we have someone who can lie to us in such a way that people feel justified that they made him king? We call it president, but people keep saying fascism's back in back in style, and that he's a dictator and all this other stuff, and they discuss corrupt business deals and how the peace conference was just an array of people who he does business with. And you should listen to some his last name is Whitehouse. He's a senator, I believe, and he's one of the best speakers when it comes to everything. Even Jeffrey Epstein, he did a dissertation. He told us everything about Jeffrey Epstein, his connection to Trump, his connection to Russia, and how they used Mar-a-Lago, Russia, and all this other stuff to traffic Russian girls, mainly Russian girls. And then he kind of expanded to Florida, other places. But yeah, yeah, bro. I can talk so much about anything, bro, but I don't talk unless I don't talk in without stuff that matters. I don't talk about stuff that don't matter, bro. Like it's upsetting that, my teacher can see such a well-written paper and give me 76 out of 100 after I score a perfect score on the multiple choice questions, and he says that I have an effective essay. He lays out all the beautiful points, beautifully written about it, and he gives me a 76 out of 100. And this is why I have a C. I do A++ work. I've been in multiple honor societies. Phi Theta Kappa, National Honor Society of High School Students. I wrote for the BSU. I was a chairman. I was in high school. I was literally the financial chair of the BSU, and I wrote newsletters, and I organized, and it's just and then I graduated high school when I was 16, and then I started college when I was 16. By 18, I earned the right to have two associate's degrees, one in math and one in liberal arts and math and science. And the whole time I'm debating with professors, I'm rewriting laws, I'm changing, I'm just changing society, and changing the criminal justice system, and I'm doing all these things, but it's all on paper because I do all these things with the theme that they will never happen because they will never elect someone who's competent enough to change the laws in a comprehensive manner unless it's slow progress. And we can see that with slavery. How slow? People say 400 years later, and the black man is still afraid of the police. Like, and they ask the question, is that freedom? Whenever they see a policeman, they don't think safety. They think, "Oh my God, I can I might get killed today." Like, is that freedom? It used to be much worse. Lynchings, and Ida B. Wells was just writing articles about that, and she had to go under Iola, a different name, and move to the north just to be safe, just so that she can keep writing about it. and just all this stuff, bro. I can just keep going, but when I say things, I'm using historical context to back up my claims because Jan, my mentor, taught me about what this guy wants me to do, and it's made me a better, more, I want to say, more credible source. And where I got the 16 nukes thing was from this. It was from a person who advised four presidents. I forgot his name. Um, but you can see a video of him speaking and stuff. If you want, I can find the video and like link it. On in his assessment on Trump and how we're going. There's a video. He talks about going into stage 3 of the war. And I do talk about dying any day because of what happened of Trump killing the person in Iran, the leader in Iran who was against nukes, and them electing someone who wants to use all the nukes. So I can die any day, and regardless, I'm gonna always be living every day like it's my last. So it don't really change nothing, but it only changed how much I can spread my essence throughout the galaxy, bro. How much greater I can be, how much more I can be like, I want to say, be better than Michael Jackson. Because there's a story. I was on the bus, and we were at a stop waiting for the next bus, and I met this French guy. His name is Remy Romero. He's a fiery guy. He's awesome, bro. And what happened was that we were just talking, bro. And then I was freestyling R&B like, "I silk as smooth lavender." It sounded much better than that. Um, because like I'm a bit sick right now, so anything that I'm doing right now is not peak quality. But I will always do my best in all that I do. So the growth mindset, Carol Dweck, go check her out. She's fire. Um, and yeah, life just lifes, and you just have to be lifeless or take up the price. Okay, so yeah, I mean, some people call that a bar, others will call it a quote. I actually have a book of quotes. I've made novels, many novels. I made a lot of poems. I made a poem about this millionaire I met on the bus. His name is Isaiah D. Johnson. And he's like, I have NFL connects, I have doctor connects, I have lawyer connects, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't care, bro. Let's get back to talking business, bro. So we started squabbling about business and stuff. He's talking about his company, he's talking about mine. Just random stuff. And yeah, bro. And when I say I'm talking about my companies, I'm talking about like I've written like 20 business plans. I've studied, how businesses work. I've studied, what you need to do to start a business, how much it costs, how much everything. And I was gonna start a business with a friend. That don't matter. That's a different story. That's another story for another day. But like these three anyways, I was talking about business with this guy, bro. And then as so he's talking about now he's talking about, oh, and I'm also doing a nonprofit for young entrepreneurs. And the word nonprofit rings in my head, bro. So I'm like, so people have to pay you to be entrepreneurs, and he said, "Well, if it's not for money, I'm not doing it." And he said it just like his hand was moving, like, bro, just like the heck you want, bro. Just and so I asked him the question, "Do you do anything with passion?" And he could not answer me. Like his hand went down. Um, he kind of went cold. Like his body almost stopped moving. Like like leaning forward slightly and just stop moving. And I just stopped talking to him after that. And I was just writing. I just wrote a poem as four endings, and it's called "To Be Soulless." And you can hear it in my reintroducing myself video. And it gets I guess I'm getting choked up over it because like it was so it's heartbreaking, man. But yeah, bro, it's like 1 a.m. That's why I'm tired. But like it's honestly heartbreaking. When I was writing it, I was actually on the verge of tears. When it says cry, when it says the word cry, when I say the word cry in the poem, I'm about to cry. I say I write that because my eyes are tearing up and I'm sniffling on the bus. Um, as and I finish all four parts to the poem in 20 minutes. And, I finished just in time. I closed my book, put it in my bag, just in time for the bus to stop. And then he gets up, oh, it was my stop. And then, he goes, and I passed him, and I was like, yo, I'll see you, man. I'll see you. Bro, the way he introduced himself first, like, he was like, my name is Isaiah Johnson, bro. Look me up, bro. Look me up. And I'm just like, and I was like, what school do you go to? And he's like, it's a very prestigious university, bro. But, I'm not going to give you all the details. And, it's Dartmouth. But, I don't care. You know, Princeton reached out to me like a few weeks ago. Like, I could care less. Anyways, like, that's how he gets his squad going, bro. He starts off with like, "Yo, I'm big, I'm big," as if he's trying to bag a hoe or something, bro. But I don't bite, bro. I don't bite like that, bro. I don't do it like that, bro. I don't swing that way or nothing, bro. But you know, um, after our interaction, I finished the poem "So To Be Soulless," which you can find in the to reintroduce myself video. Um, I just, I waved by. So it's just yawn, but he got off the bus. He got off the bus. He's outside, and I'm waving by. I'm like, "What was your name again?" Say Isaiah Johnson, bro. Look me up. Look me up, and I'm just, I don't care, bro. I meet millionaires every day, bro. Like, I met this guy named Pooh. Like, Pooh, he's a pretty chill dude, bro. He's with all the plastics. He got so many plastics in his bio. I mean, not like all of his posts are just like plastics, bro. And I actually met him while he was with the plastic, and he took her out to PF Chang's, but that was later after we met up, and exchanged incidents and talked a bit, but we chill. I mean, I haven't talked to him in a little minute, but I guess I can reach out, sometime soon. Then there's this guy on tour. His name is Marcel. Um, but let me stop talking about all the guys that all I don't. I'm not that guy. I'm not someone who just like randomly says, "Oh." It was just like I guess because it was a story. I was in story mode. I was in story time mode. But yeah, by the way, while I'm recording the reintroducing myself video, what happens, I mean, the reason why it's so dark and all this other stuff is because it's like 3 a.m. and you can see the transition from 3 a.m. to like 5 or 6 a.m. and it gets brighter. Um and my mom's passing by and stuff. She don't want to be in the video and stuff, whatnot. And what happens is that you hear my voice is all low. My voice is really low while I'm like doing the video. And what happens, like I say I'm gonna give you the poem, and then I don't know where my book is. So I take some time trying to find my book, and then I can't replicate. I have a fan club. My day ones, bro. I give them my all. I give them my everything, bro. We share everything. We tight. But they all pre-med. One of them's in med school already. All of them passed the MCAT. We just chill. I mean, I'm also on the pre-med path. And yeah, like, we all chill, bro. We all chill. Um, Yeah, I got much love for them, bro. I got that good brotherly love for them, bro. They're fire people, bro. And yeah, you just gotta treat everyone the same. I mean, like if you change up, so when I think of people, right, I think of Denzel. If I walked by him in the store, if I walked by him in the store, right, I'm gonna start smiling and be like, did I just walk by Denzel? You know? And I want to say in that way, his aura, his sheer presence is godlike, and he's so untouchable that you can't even see him in public. Like he's just that guy, and I want to be like Chris Brown, where I'm like that guy, but you can't recognize me in the store. So I can just go, get groceries, go home. Like Denzel can't just be like, "Hey, I just need to pick up some eggs right quick, huh?" He's like, I'm gonna call my agent up to see if he can get some bodyguards to pick up some eggs and drop them off at the front door. Just I don't want to be like that. I don't want to have to sacrifice myself to need secure. I want to be like everyone. I want to be in the crowd. I want to be, Kendrick Lamar. He kind of looks generic, so he's kind of hard to spot, you know, not to be that guy, but it's true. He's kind of hard to spot because he looks generic. You know, it, it's just, you know, I don't want to be like that. Like that's lame. That's just like do something, bro. You know, I would say he should do like a purple, like maybe a purple kind of like thing like right here along his braids, and then in the back of each of his like braids he has white tips, like a lion or something, like a Snow White, um you know what I mean, like I'm just saying, bro, like do something that's like art. Art is beautiful. And if you can make, if like for example, Pharrell, my nigga Pharrell, he's chill, and he got he has a certain face like that, and a certain voice that's just like unforgettable, and it's his own, and it's like you can't replicate it. You can't. No one looks like him, and no one sounds like him. You know, But Kendrick Lamar, a lot of people kind of sound similar. A lot of people look very similar. And, he just doesn't stand out much. His music might be good, but him and himself, he like he could do something else with your hair. Do something that's consistent. Stay consistent with it. Like he might stay consistent with his hair, but like just don't do your hair like everybody else does. Like like it might work for you, but change it up every once in a while. Like maybe just be like I do a different hairstyle every week, bro, or every month or every year. Every year I come out different, bro. I'm out of my shell. And I every year I advance to the next level, and you can see that in my hair, bro. Like do something like that, bro. Like 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 your music can be your brand, but you yourself need to be marketable. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, do better. And then you got people, bro. I got this song where I diss J. Cole, Kendrick, and like Drake. I diss everybody, bro. But you might not to get to see that song. I might get a bit too much hate for that one, bro. But yeah, I make songs of all different kinds, forms, styles, you know, genres. I do it all, bro. I do it all. But yeah, you know, yeah. Mm, mm. Okay, sorry about that one. I hope you all have a good night though. Today I really experimented with my focus, right, and like my mic, which is why I can like speak. Like I'm gonna record. I'm gonna check out the recording to see how well you could hear me, but my mic isn't the best. My microphone. I'm trying to figure out the brand. I'm like, what kind of mic is it? But nah, it's a C214, bro. And I got a little thing on it. Yeah, but I need a more consistent mic. Like the people who have the best mics have like a furry kind of of like a fursuit for their microphone. This is just like a news reporter muffler. Like we're speaking loudly, and this, you know, I want to be able to speak calmly and softly and just like I normally do. I want you to hear the real me. I want you to hear the relaxing tones or the relaxing sounds that the ambiance. I want you to be wrapped in warmth. I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to go out sometime. You know what I mean? And if you can't do that, is life worth living? Well, I'm not all that, I'm not that bad, I'm just saying, like, you can come out with me and my friends. Like we gonna do it right, okay? We're not gonna try to you know, do all that other stuff. We're just gonna be very respectful of your time, of your space, and of your energy. And we're gonna elevate it because that's what we do. We elevators, we innovators. We just, we dragons. We rise, bro. We rise. When we rise together. So, it is what it is. And that's the MCG. So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. But yeah, much love, bro. Much love, bro. And I talk about Kendrick getting the haircut, bro. I need a haircut too, bro. But yeah, yeah, bro. Yeah, I'll talk to you again, bro. But yeah, tell me if you want more like podcast. I have so much knowledge I can drop. Like it could last like eons. Like bro, the knowledge it just keeps going. It's like my songs, they just flowing, bro. It's just and yeah, if you wanna send me an email or whatever, bro. My email is masters of the art of the flow or master of the art of the flow at gmail.com. And yeah, bro, those are my two emails. That's for, it's my business emails. But yeah, you know, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one, bro. Much love, bro. Much love. Much love. Stay tuned, bro. Stay tuned. And go to the next video, bro. It's right there, bro. Let's go to the next video.